Alley Club, there are some things that you want to do in Raid Shadow Legends, also some mistakes that you want to avoid making. And it seems like the longer I'm playing Raid, the more mistakes that I am discovering. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video, the mistakes that you want to avoid as a beginner player. And if you're ready to see what you should avoid doing, you know what to do, Valley Club. Find that like button and let's go smash it. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin Raid channel. I am ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having an excellent day, and I hope you're ready to avoid the mistakes in Raid Shadow Legends that a lot of new players make. Some of these I made myself. Some of these I discovered along the way, just trying to find out what the heck is going on in Raid Shadow Legends. And if you get some value from this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell for even more Raid Shadow Legends content. At least 6 pieces of Raid Shadow Legends content every single week on this channel. Let's get in the game so we can talk about some of these things to avoid doing. First thing I want to talk about is your resources. So you have a bunch of resources that you have to manage in Raid. There is your energy, you have your silver, you have your gems here, you have your books that you could upgrade the skills of your characters. You have these ascendancy materials, your potions here that you could add another star to each of these characters. Now, a lot of times you just want to upgrade these characters, get them to the content you want. But if you want to play super efficient, you want to do these on the schedule that aligns with these tournaments and events. So what I'm talking about here is right now, as I'm recording this, we have a Ishiyama fragment event going on right now, which is a bunch of different events: Summon Rush event, Champion Training event, Dungeon Divers, Artifact Enhancement events, also some Champion Training tournaments, some champion chase tournaments, champion training tournaments, bunch of different things. And when you're using your resources, you kind of want to align with a lot of these events. So Summon Rush event, well, I'm gonna try to align my shard opening with these Summon Rush events because you're getting points for these events. Also, things like sacred shards, you want to kind of wait till there's a double drop. There is progressive chance events that are going on from time to time. These are usually really good for end game players that have a wider roster and just want to get specific characters. These progressive chance will give you a higher chance to get some of these just specific characters. But I think if you're a newer player, you want to wait for events to open these shards. One is a Summon Rush. The next is this double chance event. I can't remember the exact name, but you get a double chance of getting a legendary and epic. So for example, on these double summon events, you're getting instead of a 0.5% chance for a legendary and an ancient shard, you're getting a 1% chance, 16% chance for an epic, and then the rare chance goes down. So you want to wait so you get a higher chance for these. If you're waiting for your sacred shards, instead of that 6% drop rate for legendary, you want to wait for that double summon, so it's a 12% drop. So you do want to wait for some of these events for your shards. Now let's go back to the events for Ishiyama, because there's other events that are going on that you want to try to align your resource spend with. The champion training event. So this is something that gets you points for upgrading your characters. So this is probably a good time to use your epic and legendary skill tomes. And if you're putting more stars on your character, well, that is a time to do it as well. You're getting points for all that stuff. Also, if you're upgrading characters, you might want to wait to get them to the next star level. So for example, let's say this character right here, Zelata. Well, if I wanted to upgrade his rank, I'm not going to do it right now. There's no event for that going on right now. But if I did, I would wait till there's that champion training event going on, because you're getting points for training champions. Dungeon Divers events. This is where you want to spend energy and go into the dungeons, get some artifacts to align with these Dungeon Divers events, because these Dungeon Divers events, you're getting points for all these artifacts and accessories that you get. So getting artifacts from dungeon and campaign, you're getting certain points here. These are usually pretty grindy. If you look at the top point, that you get 25 points for a 6-star mythical item, and the minimum you need, if you're looking for this fusion event, 3,700 points. So you do need to use a lot of energy for this Dungeon Divers event. So that's probably where you should do a lot of your grinding. There are certain missions for these Arbor missions where you need to beat certain dungeons. One is a spider dungeon. There was a Fire Knight one. There was an Ice Golem one. Well, I am waiting till these align. So right now, there's nothing going on for Spider Den, so I'm not doing this one. The reason for that is because we have an arena mission coming up right now and nowhere close to all the gold medals that we need for this. But if I was really close to this, I probably would just do that anyway. But yeah, so my point is, you do want to align your energy, use your silver spend. You probably want to do those when we have an event going on for the artifact enhancement, these type of events here. So dungeon divers, great to use energy. Artifact enhancement, that's when you want to use your silver to upgrade your accessories and your artifacts. Champion chase and the champion training, these are when you want to build up your characters as well. And when you're starting to farm dragon, Ice Golem, Fire Knight, and a Spider, you probably want to do these during these events. Classic Arena, you're probably doing all these arena fights anyway, unless you have your Great Hall maxed out. But if you don't, you're doing all those during these events. So yeah, make sure you're using your resources wisely. They are one of the most important things in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, what do you do with duplicate characters? Well, I think the first place you go is your faction guardians. But let's go into our high elves. So you kind of what I have here. We have all of our high elves rare filled up. We have some farmable champions that we put in here. And that is what I recommend for your duplicates. As you get these duplicates, the first thing you should do is fill up your faction guardians. These bonuses, the 10% HP, 10% attack, accuracy and resistance and defense, and then speed. That is gonna help you in all game modes. So the first thing I think you should do with your duplicates, faction guardians. Next thing that you could do is, for example, we saw Eris there. Here is Eris. So next duplicate of Eris that we get, we're gonna go into a tavern and upgrade her skills. We can use rare ones, but because we already have our faction guardians filled up for the rare high elves and she's farmable, I'm not using any of these rare skill tomes for Eris. I'm just gonna use duplicate copies of Eris to upgrade the skills for Eris. And again, the timing of that should be when you get points for that. So during a champion upgrade event where you're getting points for upgrading skills, or during some kind of clan versus clan event where you're getting points for that stuff. So yeah, you do want to, with your duplicates, faction guardians, then upgrading their skills, but you do want to wait till there is an event going on because of course, duplicate champions, they are a resource that you have to manage as well. Our next big mistake, not using a download code to start a brand new Raid Shadow Legends account. If you did start a brand new account without using a download link, I would highly suggest possibly, unless you pulled something really good right off the bat, I would probably restart your account, because if you start a brand new account with my download link, you're gonna get 4 epic characters for free. Some of the best epics in the game. Uugo, one of the best epic characters in the game. You're gonna get Uugo on day 1. You're gonna get Tagoar, level 25, one of the best epic revivers in the game. And I also reached level 25 on day 1. Level 45, you're gonna get Fayne, a great champion for a clan boss, which is one of the more important game modes that I think you should start to build for at the early game. And then level 50, Mausoleum Mage, all great champs, but you also get a legendary right off the bat. If you use one of these codes in the first 24 hours, you can get one of these legendary champs right off the bat. Alice, Loki, Tuhanarak. You also have Green War Rurak, and my personal favorite, Sun Wukong. And those are the codes that are active right now. Check in the description for the expiration dates of all those codes. But that you get a legendary right off the bat. That is a great thing, but it also could lead to a mistake. Now, I recommend Kale as your starter champion. That is the first character that I built up. After Kale, that is when I started to build up Alice and Sun Wukong, because at the time I started, that Sun Wukong Alice was also a promo code that you get just by logging in. So I built up Kale first because if we look at Kale, if we go to skills, very easy to rank up rare champions. If we look at the rare champions or the rare skill tones that I had, we have a lot of them. So if I wanted to rank up Kale's skills, it is maxed out. Be very, very easy. Whereas opposed to another character, let's say a legendary character like Oella, well, I don't have as many of these legendary skill tomes. I'm kind of saving them for someone that's gonna benefit me on a lot of content. I don't want to just use these legendary tomes. I want to save them for somebody that's really, really good. So my point on this is you may not want to just upgrade your legendary right off the bat. You may want to stick with your rare champion, your starter champion. Also upgrading some of these epic champions as well. For me, I upgraded a bunch of epic champions. They're a lot easier to upgrade because not only do they take easier skill tomes, but when you're ascending their star level, a little less resources that you need to upgrade their star level and to ascend them to the next level. So it's just easier to build them up until you're later in the game and you're getting some of those resources a lot more easily. I would start with rares and epics and then eventually go with Sun Wukong and legendary. One of the big mistakes that I made with Sun Wukong is not really seeing how his kit worked. This passive here, well, if you ascend him to level 3, then that passive works. It does not work. It's not active if he does not at least have 3 ascendancy stars. So let's go down to one of these characters here so I can show you an example. Inquisitor Shmuel, don't have any ascendant stars on him right now. And for example, his passive, this is not gonna work at all because we don't have at least 3 stars on him. Once we have 3 stars, this passive will work. And that was a mistake I made with Sun Wukong in the beginning. I was like, man, everybody's saying he's so good, but he does this move. I'd never see him come back to life with this, and that's because I didn't have him ascended. So don't make that mistake. Ascend these characters to get their skills correct, but again, do them in the correct order so that you have the materials that you can rank them up to where they need to be so you could get the most benefit out of these champions. Next tip, this is for newer players until you could get to stage 16, but there is a bug on stage 10. So until you can get to stage 16, you probably want to farm stage 10 because of the drop rate of 5-star artifacts. At stage 9, the drop rate is 23%. Stage 11, the drop rate is 40%, which means that stage 10 should be somewhere between 23 and 40. Well, it is 81%. So you're getting higher 5-star artifacts here in the or accessories in the spider den. So make sure you're farming this one. 81% getting a 5-star. Now, once you get to stage 16, you probably want to stop farming stage 10. The reason, stage 16 is one of these stages that can get you 6-star artifacts. You can't start at 6-star artifacts stage 13, but stage 16 a little better because of that. Also, no brews, no mystery shards on stage 16. Stage 15 and previous, you can get some mystery shards, you can get some brews. So I would recommend staying at stage 10 until you get to stage 16. Then we get to stage 16, then just keep moving on. I think stage 20 is gonna be the best one to farm if you're just looking for like the maximum efficiency, the energy per quality of gear that you get. And if you're just looking for dungeon divers, I think stage 20 on all of these stages is where you're getting the most bang for your buck. But yeah, there's a bug on stage 10 of Spider's Den, so make sure you maximize that until you get further in the game. Our next tip is about the Great Hall and accuracy. Now, accuracy is a very important stat. You could argue it's one of the most important stats in Raid Shadow Legends. It's needed for any negative effect that is applied to an enemy. It does not include damage, but this is things like decreased speed. This is things like defense down, when you try to steal buffs, when you're decreasing enemy turn meter. Very, very important stat here. So if you are not, if you don't have enough accuracy, your characters aren't going to be doing all the cool stuff that it says in their kit. Now, as a general rule of thumb, for every dungeon that you're wanting to go to, you want about 10 accuracies per stage. So if you're going for stage 10, that spider dungeon, you want at least 100 accuracy on your characters to make sure that they're landing your debuffs at a consistent enough rate. If you're going for stage 20, at least 200 accuracy for all your champs. Now, as far as the Great Hall, one big mistake here is not focusing on accuracy, focusing on other stats. Attack, while it may seem appealing, and I did some of these attacks for some of the, I think it was some of the challenge missions or something like that. It is appealing because, you know, I want to damage people, I want to kill them. So attack will help with that. Accuracy, I think, helps a little bit more with that because that will help your negative status effects. Now, the way I did this, I focused on magic instead of force and instead of the spirit. I went with magic because my starter champions kill. Aethel, Elhain, also magic champions, so you might be wanting to go with your magic champion there and focus on this. Now, it did end up getting some better spirit champions down the road, so I kind of wish that I went with spirit in the beginning, but you know, once you're down that path, because of the path to Arbor and those Arbor missions, you want to kind of focus on one thing. Now, the Arbiter missions does require you to go a little wide, so there's a few things that you need to level up. I think you need to do 2 to level 4, but then you're just going all in on one stat, and I would recommend accuracy. You might want to switch to another class, so maybe you get some good Force champions or some good Void champions. You might want to start with that, but again, go very, very specific, focus on one thing until you get all the Arbiter missions. Once the Arbiter missions are done, then you can do what you want, but in general, accuracy, then resistance, then crit damage, then defense. Then you could switch up attack or HP, but generally moving from right to left is the best practices for how to handle your Great Hall. All right, and the last is speed, speed, speed. Once you approach the end game or even mid game, you might want to have some other stats as far as your main stat for boots. But in the beginning, in the early game, I think every champ, no matter if they're based on attack or if they're based on HP or defense, no matter what they're like, Lysandra Beastbane is based on defenses, attacks. So no matter what they're based on, I think you go with speed as your main stat for boots. Yeah, there was some champs that I had on defense and they just weren't taking enough turns, not doing their things. I think Lysandra Beastbane, I originally had some defense percent boots, just wasn't fast enough. So every single character, at least in the beginning, speed as the main stats on your boots. Upgrade that all to level 16 if you can, if you have the silver. If you're gonna do that, make sure you're doing that during a gear enhancement event where you're upgrading your gear and getting some points for that as well. So Valley Club, those in my opinion are the main pitfalls that you want to avoid as a new player in Raid Shadow Legends. Are there any other tips and tricks that I forgot? Let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you did get some value from this video, and if you did, leave it a like. If you do want to start a brand new copy of Raid, make sure you use my link in the description or scan that QR code up there. Get those 4 epic characters for free, and of course choose one of those free legendary characters. I would choose Sun Wukong, but there's a lot of great ones out there. Duhan Rek is a great one as well. Hopefully you did get some value from this video. Like I said, I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin out. Take care, guys.